Let's look at the volume of a solid between two surfaces. The area of the region below the curve y equals g of x, and above the curve y equals f of x, here's y equals g of x, y equals f of x. The area of the region between these two, for a less than or equal to x less than or equal to b, is going to be represented by the integral from a to b of g of x minus f of x dx. Okay, we saw that in Calculus 1. In the same way, the volume of the solid below the surface, z equals g of xy, and above the surface, z equals f of xy. So let's say this is the surface, z equals g of xy, and let's say this is the surface, z equals f of xy. And above the, will be the integral from over r of g of xy minus f of xy, where r is the region in the xy plane we are integrating over. So this is assuming, okay, let's say we're integrating over this region, r, in the xy plane. So we're looking at the volume of the solid between these two surfaces. So in other words, we're looking at the volume of that solid. Hope you can see that. It's kind of sloppy, to be honest with you. So for example, find the volume of the solid between z equals x squared plus y squared and z equals 5 minus x squared minus y squared for x between -1 and 1 and y between -2 and 2. Okay, this is a cool website. I highly recommend Calc Plot 3D. So again, z equals x squared plus y squared and z equals 5 minus x squared minus y squared. Those are two elliptic paraboloids. And so we're looking at the volume of the surface that's below this thing and above this thing. Very cool. Okay, the volume of the solid below the surface, z equals 5 minus x squared minus y squared, and above the surface, z equals x squared plus y squared, will be the integral 5 minus x squared minus y squared minus the quantity x squared plus y squared dy dx. Okay, when we insert the limits of integration corresponding to x between -1 and 1 and y between -2 and 2, we get the integral from -1 to 1, -2 to 2, of 5 minus x squared minus y squared minus the quantity x squared plus y squared dy dx. Of course, we can simplify this. That's simply 5 minus 2x squared minus 2y squared. Let's perform the first integration with respect to y. We get 5y minus 2x squared y minus 2y cubed over 3. Plug in y equals 2 and y equals -2. And this is what we'll end up with. If you do the math, you end up with 20 minus 8x squared minus 32 thirds. In other words, it's 28 thirds minus x squared dx. Well, that's just a regular integral from -1 to 1. When you integrate that with respect to x, it's 28x over 3 minus 8x cubed over 3 from -1 to 1. In other words, 40 thirds.